Let's bring in Nathan Sales, former ambassador at large and coordinator for counterterrorism under President Trump. Ambassador, thank you for being here. What do we need to hear in your mind from President Biden today? We're awaiting his remarks. Of course, it's on the topic of judicial confirmations, but we're going to monitor that to see if he says anything about this terror attack on the homeland. What do you think he needs to say today?
Well, Jackie, thanks for having me on. I think what we need to hear from the president is that fighting terrorism is still a priority. Look, we all want to turn the page and move on from the post 9/11 era where we're focused on al-Qaeda and ISIS and other terrorist groups. But unfortunately, terrorist groups are not prepared to turn the page on us. This is still a very real threat. What happened in New Orleans yesterday is a wake-up call that ISIS is still a very significant threat to the United States, to Europe, to our partners around the world. Ever since the caliphate fell in Syria and Iraq under the Trump administration, what we've seen is ISIS working to reconstitute itself, rebuild its networks. And so they're very active in places like Afghanistan, Pakistan. We've seen attacks in Russia, Iran, and now, tragically, an ISIS-linked attack here in the homeland. So what we need to hear from the president is a plan for applying pressure to this group globally so that it can't hurt us here at home.
The FBI says right now that there's no link yet between the suspect in the New Orleans attack and the Las Vegas blast. But do you, in your experience, see anything that could indicate that they were in fact linked?
Well, I think that's something that investigators need to take a very hard look at. We've seen reports about a couple of possible coincidences. They both rented their vehicles from the same app. They served in the Army, apparently overlapping at least one location. No indications that they actually knew each other yet. But certainly when you have an electric truck being used to commit a terrorist attack in New Orleans and another electric truck being used to blow up outside the Trump Hotel, that bears a closer look. So we don't want to get ahead of the investigators at this point. We don't want to jump to conclusions. A lot of things we think we know in the early stages of an investigation like this turn out not to be true. So let's take a deep breath, let the investigation run its course, and see what they come up with.
And this is, of course, also happening at a tenuous time in our country as we head into a transition between two administrations. So all the more important to dot our I's and cross our T's. Nathan Sales, thank you. Appreciate your time.